remember the first time I heard him sing, I was like, man, that guy's cool. You know, that guy's got a great voice. I would love to be in a band with that guy. We ended up actually meeting not long after that, a couple months after that. They played a show in Tacoma and I went to see it. Layne's guitar player at the time had met me and brought me over to the party, and I ended up meeting Layne. He worked at a place called the Music Bank. We hit it off, and he's like, man, Nick was telling me about your situation, man. If you got nowhere to stay, you can come stay with me. I could probably even get you a job. And he did. He's got a band. I don't yet. So, I wouldn't ask him to quit a band for what? I don't have anything yet. So, but he was always really supportive. And, before we got together as Alice, I'd met Mike on his own, then I'd met Layne on his own. And I started asking Layne about, musicians. He's like, yeah, I met this guy named Sean on 𝗖𝗵𝗶𝗆 like last year. And he was kind of a really funny dude and said he played drums. I don't know how good he is, but he seemed like a pretty cool dude. So he gave me his number and I called up Sean. And I'm like, hey, I'm Jerry and looking to kind of put together a band. My buddy Layne says you guys met. Yeah, we're down here at the Music Bank. We got a room if you want to come down and jam. And he's like, yeah, that sounds cool. He's like, you got a bass player? And I'm like, well, I played with this guy named Mike Starr, for a couple of weeks. Thought he was pretty cool. Maybe somebody like that. You know who that is? I was like, yeah, I do know who that is. This is my best friend and I'm dating his sister. I think Layne was, mildly interested, but he wasn't really involved, but then he started kind of, listening to us play a little bit. And he's like, hey, I'm doing this thing with this other guy and you want to play guitar in that? I'm like, okay, that's cool. I'll do that for you. But why don't you sing with us too as well? So we made a deal with each other. And then after a period of time, Sean and Mike and I were like, we were kind of tired of that. So we're like, how do we get him to quit his other side projects or whatever? And, we were like, well, let's just start trying out singers in his room. So we had a couple of days where we had just had a parade of idiots coming into the room that were just horrible. One guy was like a male stripper. We tried a couple of guys out and he was like the last one, and Layne was working working the desk. So these guys would walk through and then he'd get to hear through the wall us kind of trying to play with him. And after that last dude, the male stripper guy, he came down and he's like, all right, I'm in. All right, I can't let you guys be playing with these fucking guys, man. Fucking,